Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's watch list for the week of April 19th, 2021. Before I get started in the watch list, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in the bio section of social media. Hopefully this week will be more volatile. It won't be so range bound, because it makes it really hard that it's like that. I'm just looking over the docket for next week to make sure there's nothing, like no Powell, and I don't see anything. No, I don't think you'd see any Powell. No Powell as of right now. So yeah, that might be okay. Now, like I said, hopefully we'll see something happen where we'll get some range this week and we'll get some good plays and stuff like that. So we'll start with the bearish side first, and obviously I have BABA up first, and BABA is one that I'm going to be watching short. You have like a descending triangle right here on the 4 hour and the 1 hour, and you get a gap to fill right down in here to the 224. And BABA likes to fill these gaps, and there's been chatter on social media about Jack Ma being missing again. Who knows if it's true or not, and the Chinese government getting back after BABA again. So it's just it's always drama with BABA and stuff like that, so we'll just have to see what happens. And so yeah, I would be watching it underneath this 237 area for it to fill the gap, and you're going to have a little bit of support right here in the 232 231 area, then 230 area, and you get 226 225, then you get a real pretty big support right here in 223 and 222. Now, if it does manage to get below the 222, 221 area, I mean, it's the next big area is 217 and 210. But I'm likely would see it fill the gap right here. Another thing you get a note is that the 14 and the 30 SMA right here are starting to cross over, and I know I always use EMAs and stuff like that, but sometimes I like to look at the SMAs to get the bigger picture, because all the algos, they use certain indicators, certain moving averages. They're not always EMAs, they're not always SMAs. You gotta have different looks and different indicators to kind of get an idea where price is based on those moving averages, the indicators and stuff like that, because algos end up reacting to things like that. So I would definitely keep an eye on that for BABA. Another one is Triple M. Now, Triple M, you're starting to see a divergence right here as it's making higher highs. Histogram is diverging. MACD is starting to come down and cross over. Same with the RSI and same with the stochastics right here. So getting a multiple indicator divergence going on right here. So I would watch it underneath 198. For a push to 197 to 195. 195 would be a pretty big area. 195, 196 per pivot. Then you have 194, and then you get 192 area right here for Triple M. So I would definitely watch for that. Now we have earnings coming up this week, like Netflix and stuff like that, but I'm not going to touch Netflix with earnings coming up. So yeah, because it would be implied volatility be through the roof. It always is during earnings week anyway. So another one that's coming up on multiple indicators is McDonald's. As you can see, it's making a higher high. Indicators are MACD histogram is starting to go down. Same with MACD crossing over. RSI is coming down, and so is in stochastic. So you have a multi-indicator bearish divergence going on right here on McDonald's. So I would definitely watch that too underneath 232 for push to fill the gap to 231. Then you get this 230 area that's pretty big. Then you get 229. So basically any whole dollar. This 229 area is pretty big on the daily. So if it does manage to break this 229 area, it's got room down here to 227, 225. As far as how far we'll go, I don't, that will depend on the market, but 225 seems to be a pretty big area right here. So I would definitely, that'd be the area to watch at McDonald's. I like seeing these multi-day indicators showing bearish divergence because usually it gives you a little heads up on something coming. Another one is Nvidia. Now Nvidia, you get a on the daily, it's just it's so far out of reach of the middle of the Keltner channel right here, and anytime these candles get outside the Keltner channel on the daily, that they like to pull back in. I mean, it did it right here, a full candle out. It did come back a little bit, but didn't really get back in. Then it rebounded higher highs. I know there's like a microchip shortage and stuff like that, so that's providing the extra squeeze. But I wouldn't be a bit surprised if the Nvidia ends up coming back to retest the 600 area. So I would watch it underneath to 634 to 620. You get this gap right here at 620. So then you also got this 610 area, you can say, and then you get this where it broke out right here. So 610, probably 600, but Nvidia, it can keep going. It can keep going, but as you can see, you got a little RSI divergence right here going on. So it's making, even though it made a higher high, the RSI is making a lower high right there. So there is a slight RSI bearish divergence right there. It's not a multiple indicators, that's still going up, and the stochastic is pretty high. Just it's I'm just looking at it, you know, it could have a possible pullback, but the weekly, the MACD is just getting ready to cross over on the weekly, and it could keep going. So Nvidia is definitely the riskier one of the 3 or the 4 I've already posted. So definitely have to see where that ends up. So the last one I have, now I don't have much on my bearish or call side, bullish side this week, because the market's just we have to see what the market's gonna do. The market I thought was gonna be toppy last week and was gonna dump, and it didn't. So could this be the week? Who knows? But yeah, Apple is the next one. Now Apple, I see a hidden divergence going on right here. As you can see right here, this is high and this is a lower high, and histogram is is making a higher high on the histogram right here, even though price is not higher than it is right here. So you have a hidden divergence right here on Apple, and these hidden divergences end up paying off. I shouldn't say paying off, but they end up playing out sooner or later. So if the market does decide to dump this week, this 135 level has been pretty tough for Apple. As you can see right here, it's rejected a few times this week, and it's been support right here, and so it's a pretty big area for Apple. But this hidden divergence is sticking out like a sore thumb right here, so I would definitely keep an eye on that. So if Apple does manage to break 130, you can see even I wouldn't want to say 134, but because price is right there, you know, 130, 133. If it breaks 133, you got room down to 132 area. Then you have the 131, the 130, basically every whole dollar. And you have this little gap right here to fill in the 128 area on Apple. Now I wouldn't imagine Apple's going to go down too far. I mean, it could come back down and retest this 127 area, 120. Yeah, it could fill the gap right here. It could actually just fill this gap and just come back up. But just be aware that if Apple does manage to break over 135, there is a hidden divergence going on, and SPY is just getting out of control, and it's sooner or later it's going to make a really big nosedive, and hopefully that people aren't going to be too heavy on the call side this week, because at any time something bad could end up happening. So just got to be very cautious into this week. So on the bullish side, Walmart. Now the one thing I like about Walmart, assuming the market's in favor, it's got this cup and handle right here at the gap resistance. So it came back down, it tested it, it chopped under it, pulled back just a little bit, and then it came back up. Now if it does manage to get over this 141 area, it could end up rocking up and filling the gap into the 145, 146, even 148 now. Got to back it out a little bit. Now, if it does manage to fill that gap, there could be a lot of resistance here in this 147, 148 area. So I would be very cautious that if it does manage to get over that, 150 would probably be the next big level for Apple. Retail has been really strong over the last couple weeks, so we'll have to see if it will continue that strength. Now, Qcom is another one that's shaping up. I just hit my mic because it's in a weird spot. The one thing I'm seeing on Qcom is you get like a little inverted head and shoulders. You get a left shoulder here, a big head, and a little right shoulder right here. If it does manage to get over this 140 area, it could end up shooting up to 145 and 150. Now 150 would probably end up being where it's going to end up stalling out. If it manages to get over 140, that is assuming that the market is going to be strong and have some momentum behind it, and this doesn't end up getting thrashed on this week or whatever. So Qcom's got a lot of catching up to do. I think it can go back to all-time highs by the end of the year, but that will all depend on the market conditions and stuff like that. So I would watch it, like I said, over 140 to 141. Then you get this 145 area. Then you get this 150. So 150, I think, is pretty much as high as it's going to end up going, unless it decides to chop out a little bit. I don't think it's going to break this gap resistance right here at the 150, 151 area. So have to see. Amazon is another one. Amazon has just been channeling. I think I have to take it to the weekly to actually get a better look at this. Yeah, it's just channeling in this area right here, and it's been strong the last couple weeks. So if it does manage to get over this let's see, this 34.15 area, it's going to probably shoot to 34.50, and gets to 34.50, it's going to 3,500, then possibly even 35.55 or 35.50, which all-time high is right here, the 35.52.25. It does manage to break that, it's probably going to shoot to 3,600. Usually when it's consolidating this long in the range, where it's been staying in this 3,000 to 3,400 range since July of last year, so it's been building a lot of strength. I mean, this could end up just rocketing to 3,800 with ease if any momentum gets behind it. So I would definitely watch Amazon. It's just been sitting idling in that area for a while, so I mean, it could also pull back too, but I'm just saying, if it does end up breaking out of that area, it could have a pretty significant move. Now Pepsi is the last one. Pepsi, I mean, it's sitting in this area consolidating. Now if it does manage to get over the let's see, I would say 145 area right here on the daily, you could probably push to 146 and 146.50, 147, 148, in the all-time high is 148.77 now. We'll have to see if it actually does break 145. Earnings was pretty good. I mean, they got 124 when they were expecting. The estimate was I can't see it now. I think 111.9. Yeah, 111.9. So Pepsi had pretty decent earnings, and it could end up breaking out of this little bull flag right here. So definitely watch that for a push to 148 to even 150. So that's going to end up doing it. Nothing spectacular on the watch list. It's all going to be dependent on what happens with SPY. If anything crazy happens, news drops or anything like that, plays will get adjusted based on gap ups and news and stuff like that. That's why you need to be in the room, and we adjust the plays or the bias or direction based on any news events or what happens overnight. So yeah, that's why you need to be in the room. Like I said, the room link is in the description of the video and the bio section of the social media accounts, and that's going to do it. Make sure you like and subscribe the video and the channel, and thank you for watching.